Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. It has been such a long time since I put a video up on my channel. I did not forget about you guys, nor did I forget about this channel. I've actually been wanting to film quite a few videos, but I took a long break over the summer. But now I am back. Summer was just really busy. Lots of things going on, lots of work. And then went on vacation and kind of just fell off the bandwagon with making the whole videos thing. But I am back. Today is September 14th. So it's kind of like pre-fall, like still kind of summer, like it's like in between summer and fall. So as the days get colder and darker, I'll be spending a lot more time inside, so hopefully getting some more videos out to you by the end of the year. I'm really excited about today's video. Today we are going to be flipping through the collector's edition of Entertainment Weekly, The Ultimate Guide to Stephen King. As you know, the new It movie is out. I haven't yet seen it. I do plan to go see it this weekend, but I've heard amazing things about it. So I was in a Walgreens last weekend, and this happened to catch my eye, and I usually don't buy magazines, and this is a magazine, but it's a collector's edition, so it has like it's a thicker there's more pages to it, and it has more of like a book feel than a magazine feel. So it caught my eye, and I flipped through it a little bit, and I've read through it for the past week, and I thought, what a great idea for a video. So as my first video back from the summer, I thought, why don't we flip through this together? So this, yes, as I said, this is the Ultimate Guide to Stephen King. So it has like lots of insights to all of his like the movies that are made from his most famous stories. There's an exclusive excerpt from his new novel called Sleeping Beauties, which he wrote actually with his son, Owen King. Plus, there's an inside, there's like behind the scenes stuff about the new It. So let's just get started. I love the cover. It has all the iconic characters from his movies. So, Collector's Edition, Entertainment Weekly, The Ultimate Guide to Stephen King. So this is just a table of contents. So this is the first part, and it's called The Next Chapter. And this part of the book is all about inside the new It movie and the new novel Sleeping Beauties. And here you can see the iconic Pennywise character, but this is the new version of Pennywise. I'm so excited to see this movie. So this is a still from the new It movie, and it says, "Fear itself. 3 decades after Stephen King's child-snatching clown first inspired nightmares, Pennywise is back and ready to feed on the fears of a new generation inside the making of a modern horror epic." Ugh, I just can't wait. I feel like this movie is really going to scare me. Yeah, so like all the parts are just like little insider behind the scenes things about what went on during the movies. And they have lots of photos. This is the cast of the movie It. That's why I like the movie It. It is a horror movie, but children are the main characters. It has a very Stranger Things vibe. So in the It movie, the cast of characters, they're called the losers. So this is Eddie Kasprak, Stanley, Ben, Richie, who Richie is played by Finn Wolfhard, and he is actually a cast member in Stranger Things. Then you have Beverly, Mike, and Bill. And then this is a photo of one of the many children who have gone missing in the sleepy town of Derry, which is where the story takes place. And this is the director, Andy Muschietti. This is a wall charting the strange occurrences in Derry. And then this is Georgie, who is the little brother of Bill, who is like an iconic character because he's the little boy with the yellow rain jacket who loses his paper boat, and it goes into like a gutter, and that's where he meets Pennywise for the first time. Oh, look, I love this picture. So this is Bill, Richie, and Eddie, and they're ascending the stairs of 29 Naybold Street, which is the rundown house in town. And then this is Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise. And the director says that Pennywise is one of the greatest monsters of all time. The idea of reimagining Pennywise to me means it's important to stay true to the essence of the character, but also bring some edge to it, something people won't expect to see. This is a cool page. So this is From Page to Scream. This is such a scary shot right here. Ugh. Oh, look at this with his hand. It says it wants to divide us. This is all about It All Connects. So these are all like different novels from Stephen King. The Dark Tower, The Tommyknockers, Dreamcatcher. I wish I had time to read this. So this is a exclusive excerpt in the next couple pages. This is all an excerpt from Stephen King's new novel, who he wrote with his son Owen King, called Sleeping Beauties. But I'll just read you like kind of what it's about. So it says, "You cannot believe how nice it is to have somebody that you raised come to you and say, 'Let's work together,'" said Stephen King, who has previously collaborated with his older son Joe on 2 books. For their first joint effort, he and Owen dreamed up Sleeping Beauties, excerpted here. A horror tale set in a remote Appalachian town where women lie down to sleep and never awaken, their bodies shrouded in gossamer webs. And, as their sons and husbands and brothers soon learn, disturbing Those mysterious cocoons comes with consequences. Yeah, so I read the excerpt. I really want to find this book when it comes out. It's going to be released September 26th. So it's definitely a chilling horror novel. And really, it was only like an introduction, so I don't know what it entails. I just know that there is a virus going around called Australian sleeping flu, but it only affects women, and they kind of cocoon themselves, and if you disturb them, they come back as like monsters, basically. So I am definitely there for that. Look how cute this picture is. This is Stephen and then his little son Owen, and now he's all grown up and writing novels just like his dad. So this is The King of Fright. So this section is all about Stephen King's greatest and scariest hits. So there's Carrie, Misery, and The Shining, and a couple others. So this is all about Carrie. For Stephen King, it all started with his debut horror novel about an abused teen who unleashes telekinetic powers at her high school prom. Brian De Palma's film adaptation terrified audiences in 1976 and jump-started King's prolific career. I love the movie Carrie. It's so sad what happens to her, but it's such a classic horror movie. They did remake it in 2013. It wasn't as good, though. So here, this is Carrie, who was played by Sissy Spacek. She fights for control over her mother, Margaret White, who is played by Piper Laurie, who is such a good actress. She was just so dramatic, and she was in, if you watch Twin Peaks, she's in Twin Peaks as well. This is one of the most iconic scenes from Carrie, the ending. So it says a cameraman captures Carrie's final scare when Amy Irving's Sue Snell places flowers on Carrie's grave. The dead girl's bloody hand appears and grabs on her left arm. Iconic scene. This is a cool page. These are all, it says Going Global. So these are all movie promos for movie marketing around the world. So this is this was for the new one, these two. This is for Russia for the remake. This is for, most of them are for the original. This is Spain in 1977, Germany in 1983, Italy 1977, Spain in 1976. This is for the new one, France 2013, France 1976, Italy 1988. This was a cool little moment. So this is 25 scariest monster moments. Monsters, madmen, and maniacal machines, severed limbs and bisected bovine. Behold the best, the boldest, the bloodiest moments from Stephen King's body of work. I liked this magazine too because September is always pre-Halloween month. You start thinking of what you're going to decorate your house with, what your costumes are going to be, what your parties will be like. And I'm definitely mid-September, I'm already in pre-Halloween mood and wanting to watch all the classic scary movies and the not so scary movies. For me, definitely every Halloween I have to watch The Addams Family and The Addams Family Values. I try to watch or try to find Scooby-Doo. I love Scooby-Doo. I love to watch Sleepy Hollow during the Halloween season. Anything Tim Burton I like to watch during the Halloween season. What else? And like the quintessential Halloween movie for me is Hocus Pocus. Like, it is my favorite Halloween movie, bar none. They don't show all of the list, they show some, and we can kind of go through it a little. So this is from Salem's Lot. It says, freshly undead youngster Ralphie floats scratching at his brother's window, his silent smile a request for entry. Danny obligingly opens the window. We don't see much of what happens next. This is a cover of his book, The Wastelands, and it says, of all the phantasmagorical creations populating the Dark Tower saga, none is more memorably deranged than Blaine the Mono, a monorail gone rampant in apocalyptic old age. Blaine is a tauntingly strange figure, a suicide machine that just wants to have fun. This is from Creepshow. A classic moment from the Creepshow anthologies, a King scripted short finds germophobic Upson Pratt living every New Yorker's nightmare when his apartment is invaded by cockroaches. And then Pratt's body is invaded by cockroaches, and inevitably there's nothing left but roaches, roaches, roaches. And this is from The Mangler. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre director Tobe Hooper overcooked a short story about a killer laundry press, but there's a terrifying power to the film's first death scene when a worker gets swallowed whole. This is from Sleepwalkers. So, frequent King collaborator Mick Garris helped this low-key horror thriller, which features an absolutely memorable moment. People really should learn to keep their hands to themselves. Energy vampire Charles tells meddling Mr. Follows after he pulls off Follow's hand. Then this is Maximum Overdrive. King remains apologetic about his sole directorial effort, but it does include one brilliant sequence. A Little League baseball coach tries to get soda from a faulty vending machine only to be killed when the homicidal machine launches cans at high speed at him. Yeah, so there's all kinds of other ones. This is the cover of Survivor Type, or Skeleton Crew, sorry. A surgeon is stranded on a Pacific island. He keeps a diary. It's all very Robinson Crusoe, except he has little food and rescue won't come. When he injures his ankle, he has to amputate and maybe now has food. Ooh. Pet Cemetery. By the last page, Lewis Creed has put his dead wife in the mystical Indian resurrection mound. In his empty house, he awaits her return. The novel leaves Lewis hanging on a freaky final sentence. Darling, it said. And it. A little boy named Georgie Denbrow loses his paper boat in a storm drain. Inside the sewer lingers Pennywise, a clown with tufts of blonde, blood-red hair. He offers the boy balloons. They float. They float. Georgie reaches his hand into the sewer and quickly loses it. Our nation's clown terror began here. And this is a classic, iconic scene from any movie. The Shining. No one ever watched Johnny Carson's Tonight Show the same way again. The freaky, hilarious announcement Daddy Torrance delivers through the freshly axed indoor is somehow vintage King, pure pop-referential nuclear family mania. What sells it is Jack Nicholson's murderous smile. He's broken all the way bad, and he's never been happier. So this section is all about The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of King's haunted hotel novel received mixed reviews upon its release. The author himself has remained a fervent critic of the 1980 film. Today, it's revered as a horror classic. So, that being said, I know that Stephen King is not a huge fan of the movie The Shining. Now, I've never actually read the novel. I love the movie. Danny, on the other hand, he thinks it's a classic, but he feels like they changed so much, so it could have been better. But to me, The Shining is definitely a horror classic. Oh, this is a classic scene right here. When Danny uses his mother's red lipstick to write red rum on a door. And he says, red rum, and it's murder backwards. And this is another iconic scene when Wendy Torrance cowers in the bathroom as Jack breaks down the door with a firefighter's axe. This is more of a thriller, but this is definitely a classic. Misery. Nearly 3 decades ago, Kathy Bates shattered James Caan's ankles on screen in bone-crunching detail. She earned an Academy Award for her mesmerizing performance as an unhinged superfan who takes her favorite writer captive. I love Kathy Bates. So in this movie, James Caan plays Paul Sheldon, who is the writer, and then Kathy Bates plays Annie Wilkes. Going through this book, I realized a lot of his stories have to do with writers. The Shining, Jack Nicholson played a writer. James Caan plays a writer. In Secret Window, Johnny Depp is a writer. There's so many stories about writers. This is where Paul and Annie duke it out after he brains his captor with a typewriter. And then this is the director, Rob Reiner, and Kathy just chatting. So this section is called Hell Hath No Fury. Carrie was just the first. King has made it his mission to write compelling heroines who have endured and inflicted horrifying abuse and who are united by a powerful, troubling thread. So it's all about how a lot of his stories, the central characters are women or girls who are either the villains or the heroes. So here we have like Wendy Torrance in The Shining. There's Carrie. This one is Dee Wallace and Danny Pintaro as Donna and Tad Trenton in Cujo. This is from the movie Christine, which is the movie about the demon-possessed car. This is from the original It, and this is when the monster shapeshifts as an enormous female spider. And here we have Piper Laurie and Sissy Spacek again as Margaret and Carrie White in Carrie. And again, Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes in Misery. And this is Kathy Bates again, and she stars in Dolores Claiborne. And that's actually a trilogy. So these are the covers of the trilogy. So it's Dolores Claiborne, Rose Maddow, and Gerald's Game. So Dolores Claiborne came out in the early 90s, and they actually just made Gerald's Game. It's going to be a Netflix original movie coming out later on this month. This is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. The Mist. A fog settles over a small town. Madness and monsters lie inside. Since its 2007 release, Frank Darabont's masterpiece has gained a must-see reputation for its haunting artistry and the unforgettably bleak ending. So if you're not too familiar with The Mist, it's about Dave Drayton, and he is an artist, and he lives in a small town, I believe in Maine, and there's a huge storm one night, and then this thick mist comes and covers the entire town, and he is stuck in a grocery store with his son and like other people from the town, and someone comes screaming into the mist covered in blood saying there's something in the mist, there's something in the mist, and then they see that the mist carries all these horrible monster-like creatures. So it's about their story being trapped inside the grocery store and like their survival, basically. It's a good movie. And I guess they are rebooting it as a TV show. It came out this year, and I didn't watch it. So I usually don't watch TV shows like on TV. I usually wait for them to come onto Netflix. So when it comes to Netflix, I'll try to see if I can watch it. So this section is called Beyond the Horror: King's Sensitive Side and Powerful Legacy. So these are the non-horror movies that he did that are super iconic. So Stand By Me. Rob Reiner's beloved 1986 coming-of-age film showcased the horror maestro's sensitive side, sending 4 boys and future Hollywood stars on the path toward becoming young men. Stand By Me is definitely before my time. I loved 1980s coming-of-age movies, but this one, I never really got into Stand By Me. So this is... I do know Corey Feldman from The Goonies. That's Corey Feldman. He plays Teddy Duchamp. And then there's Vern Tessio, Chris Chambers, who's played by River Phoenix, and Gordy LaChance, who is played by Will Wheaton. And then Kiefer Sutherland is also in this movie, and he kind of plays a bad guy. This section is called What About the Children? It's all about how a lot of his stories feature children as the central characters. The horror maestro conjured terrorized tots and revenge-minded youths, all with the disclaimer, no children were harmed. But what happens when Hollywood casts kids in movies and TV shows meant to terrify adults? So this is an iconic scene in The Shining when Danny, at age 5, said in 2013 that one of the highlights of the film was riding his bike inside the house. He's now a science teacher married with children of his own. I just personally don't find The Shining scary because I saw it behind the scenes. Ugh. Speak for yourself. Oh no. I guess it got stuck a little bit. Not too much damage. This is Danny Pintoro. Oh, this is Danny Pintoro and Dee Wallace from Cujo. This is the resurrected Gage Creed in Pet Sematary. Nathan Gamble as the Miss Billy Drayton with his father, David. And this is the cast of It. People always want to know what happened in my childhood. They think there has to be some reason why I'm writing all of these terrible things. This is John Franklin as Isaac in Children of the Corn. Drew Barrymore ignites as pyrokinetic Charlie McGee in Firestarter. And the 4 young co-stars of Stand By Me. The movie captures the truths of being 11, 12, 13 years old in that last summer of childhood. There's a universality to the story, and we did our best to bring it to life on film. So this is an exclusive interview that Stephen King gave to Entertainment Weekly, and it's just a really in-depth interview about his writing, all of his stories and books, and those stories and books that have become movies or TV shows. It says, "I'm not crazy. I know they're not real," says King of his best-loved characters, but one fictional kid, Danny from The Shining, nagged at him until he got a sequel. Here the author explains why. The guy who wrote The Shining was barely 30 years old. That's half the age I am now, and more. I've learned some new tricks. So yeah, if you did not know, there is a sequel to The Shining called Doctor Sleep. I wonder if he probably has never read that one. The Shawshank Redemption. I have a great friend named Julie Froman, who this is one of her favorite movies. So director Frank Darabont crafted a 2.5-hour King adaptation without a trace of the supernatural and cast Morgan Freeman in the role of a carroty, red-haired Irishman. Initially, it was a flop, which I don't understand because it's such a good movie. So these are the prisoners of Shawshank State Prison. Outdoor scenes for the prison were shot at the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. And then we have Clancy Brown as Captain Hadley. And then this is, these are inmates expanding the prison library. And then this is Bob Gunton as Warden Norton. I love this movie, The Green Mile. King's powerful drama blended fiction, fantasy, and memoir and gave Michael Clarke Duncan the role of a lifetime. This is Michael Clarke Duncan. So if you are not familiar with The Green Mile, it's set in Depression era, I believe... I don't remember where it's set, but it's in the Depression era, and there was Michael Clarke Duncan has like a supernatural ability to heal people, and there was a rape, and he was going to heal the victim of the rape, and it being the Depression era, him being a towering African American man, they immediately assumed that he was the perpetrator, and so they imprisoned him. And he gets convicted of murder and rape, and he's on the Green Mile, which is the like the road to the electric chair back in the day. He gets sentenced to death, but while he's in prison, he makes a beautiful connection with Tom Hanks' character, and while he's there, he heals. He just touches people's hearts and their spirits with his beautiful soul. So this is the character Coffee. He screams in pain as flies fly from his mouth after he cures Edgecomb's illness. And this is when he revives Dell's pet mouse, Mr. Jingles. These are the death row guards Harry Terwilliger and Brutus Brutal Howell. And then this is a shot of the director, Frank Darabont, meeting with Tom Hanks on set. Long live the king. Some of today's leading filmmakers and novelists credit the masterful author as a powerful influence whose inspirational work has elevated the horror genre beyond its penny dreadful origins. And this is a photo of Stephen King in 1975. I feel like he's aged really well because he is, I believe, 70 years old and he still looks the same. I mean, he looks like he's grayed and stuff, but... So these are, he has a publishing empire, and so these are all the books that he's made and the movies that are from his books. And it goes like in chronological order. So these are fiction, graphic novels, and nonfiction. So it starts with Carrie, and ends with the newest one, Sleeping Beauties, which comes out this year. And these are all of his films and television. So the first one being Creepshow in 1982, to the newest one, The Mist, and The Mist, the new television show, not the movie, and then Castle Rock is to be announced, so it's coming out later this year or next year. So many good books and TV shows and movies. And that's pretty much the end of it. Oh, the last page being Pennywise from It. They float, Georgie, and when you're down here with me, you'll float too. And then this is just him. It looks like the early 80s or maybe the 90s. He's on a motorcycle. I don't consider what I do work. It's making stories up in my head. So that's it. What a great little magazine. I didn't even know that Entertainment Weekly made these collector's editions, but I looked back and they've made other ones, really for like big movies that are coming out or like the premieres of really big television shows. So if they make other ones, and if it's something that I'm interested in, I'll get it and we can do another magazine flip through. I really hope you enjoyed looking at the pages with me. I know I enjoyed it. Please, when I get this video up, comment below, and if you guys have any other ideas for like the fall Halloween season, please let me know. I would be more than happy to try to do the any suggestions that you guys have. So that's it for now. I love you guys so much, and I really hope you guys have a great rest of your week and a great day. Bye.